All right, you able to see my screen?
Yep, we got it.
Cool, awesome. So we're going into week 7. I'll let you take over from there, Arnold. And there you go.
All right, cool, guys. And so, hey, welcome to week 7. Again, we started the recording, and I appreciate everyone being on. And here we are, week 5. We started out with telling your story, the presentation, you know, the 5 presentations everyone should know. And guys, we have made it to signature talk. And like I was saying earlier, signature talk is something that's really going to be able to separate you from the pack. All right. It's going to make you that subject matter expert. And so we have definitely saved the best for last, but everything that we've done building up to this is used in your signature talk with your story and being able to present the information. But we're going to show you today how to present it in a different way. You see, professionals, what they want to do is they want to attract people. They want to get people asking them questions. They want to become the subject matter expert in a certain field, you know, the master of one, not good at everything else. And so that's what we're going to show you today. But first, we're going to recap. All right. We're going to recap about what we did last week, you know, for the people who weren't on. As you know, I've done this training a few times. And, you know, last week we talked about follow-up, guys. And here is the definition of following up. Following up is key. It is key in order to go ahead and make deals, because no one typically buys on the first time. You need to follow up with them. And so follow up is the process of completing an activity. So when it comes to business, especially when you need to acquire new customers, following up simply means turning a prospect into a customer or a distributor. All right. And so here's knowing your book of business. The one thing that I want you guys to realize, and I'm not sure if it's in the next slide, but, you know, 80% of people buy, you know, during follow-up. All right. People don't buy on their first time. And so we need to really write this down. All right. All right. Now, every person that you speak to, every person that you market to, every person that responds to a Facebook post, guys, you want to keep a book of business on those people. Because although they may not be your client or agent now, they will be or could be in the future. And that is the key to keeping that pipeline going. And you want to follow up with this simple formula: 222, 224, 2 days, 2 weeks, and then 4 weeks. You know, keep them in that pipeline. Follow up, you know, with new announcements. Like we have the level up, you know, when the level up came out, I went and I followed up with people and say, hey, the company has this new bonus. And, you know, you want to run your report, your customer report, enrolling people as agents. You know, those are the people you want to reach out to, letting them know, asking them their results. All right. And then give them the opportunity to maybe go ahead and partner. And so you never know when someone's mind will change. I just had a person give me a call that I talked to back in July. The reason why she gave me a call, because one of her friends just got promoted in our company. And I announced that. You see, sometimes people just want to follow you and see if the thing works, and they'll end up following up with you. But the key is being consistent and then being ready. All right. When the opportunity shows itself. Okay. So what to do and when to follow up, guys? Use your story. All right. Learn someone else's story. Learn David's story. Learn my story. I've learned Sally's story. I've learned Jackie's story. I've learned Matt's story. I know David's story. I know Daryl's story. I know stories that can relate to anyone. And that's what we do when we form. And we did a great job. And I know David did a good job 2 weeks ago going on forming. And, you know, forming is key because you know what story relates to other people. Use the videos, tools, webinars. All right, trainings, our system, save yourself time, energy, and money when you follow up. We have the tools for success, but they don't work if you don't use them. It's like, you know, you got that hammer right there, you got that nail, but you're trying to bang that nail with your head. It ain't gonna work, guys. Use the hammer. Use the tool that's available to you. All right, use your head, you get a headache. All right, call to action. You know, what is more beneficial to you, for the client, for the agent? Remember, your first conversation will not close all deals. You can be a pro. You can be an expert. All right. And some people just don't buy on the first time. It is okay. It has nothing to do with you, nothing to do with your service, nothing to do with your business model, nothing to do with your compensation plan. All right. If you follow the system and they didn't buy, it's just not their time right then. And you follow up until they tell you to stop. And even when they tell you to stop, you still follow up. Why? Because you have that unshakable belief, knowing that you're helping people. And when you have that belief, guys, you know, you will follow up because you know once they get started, they're going to thank you. And the 1st and the 15th, tomorrow is the 15th. Everybody should be posting tonight. People get paid tomorrow. Government workers get paid tomorrow. All right. And then the next day is Friday. So you got like a double whammy. All right. You got Thursday, Friday, people getting paid. You want to catch them when they have that disposable income. You see, is strategy to this. And pros, we know the strategy. I know that I'm going to be running ads tonight. That way they're available tomorrow. So people will see it. That way I can bring on more clients when they have the money to buy. And remember, some will, some won't. So what, guys? Who's next? Keep moving. That's the great thing about having that pipeline of people, having those people saved in your files. That way you never run out of people to talk to. And then week 6, we talked about the art of closing. Closing is key, but closing starts on the invite. It starts on the prospecting. So closing is a sales term which refers to the process of making a sale. The closing is the final step of a transaction. In sales, it's used more generally to mean achievement of a desired income, which may be an exchange of money or acquiring a signature. You see, that is our goal, guys, to get them to hit submit and to become a client or become an agent. All right. And so, guys, listen, we're going to go over this briefly because this is not what the training's about tonight, but you need to know this. All right. You don't need anyone to join your business. It's a privilege to join with you. Okay. That is the posture that you need to have. All right. You are interviewing people. And you need to let them know that sometimes. Hey, I am interviewing you. I want to see if you are a good fit for our company and for our team. Sort of like you did when you got interviewed for your first job. Okay, you sat there and the person asked you questions and you answered them. You see, that's what you need to do with your business. Take it serious. All right, make people respect your business. Your prospects sense neediness, like a dog senses fear. We all know people that are thirsty. We can sense thirstiness. Women, you can sense when a guy is thirsty. You're like, nah, I don't want that. You see, people want things that they can't have. People want things that are valuable, not things that are just readily available at any time. People join strength, not weakness. Nobody wants to follow somebody to the promised land that they think they're going to get them lost. Nobody wants to follow a map that's backwards. You see, you need to know and have a clear vision where you're going. People will sense that, and then they will follow you. And then last but certainly not least, professionals sort, amateurs sell. You see, we're sorting through people. We're not trying to sell them anything. You want to sort through the people that's going to be good fit for your business, that's going to elevate your business. All right, not trying to sell. And remember, guys, the most effective way is to ask questions. And the goal is to find out what is important that you have, okay, that we have that can benefit and fill the need of that prospect. And so here's some closing questions, guys. I want everybody to see them again. All right, take a screenshot of them. I'm not going to go over them as great a detail. I mean, we've done this a few times, and so everybody should have heard us go over this, guys, but take a screenshot and practice these closing questions. All right, you should know these closing questions like you know your social security number, or like you know the Star Spangled Banner, or you know that last Beyonce song, or however it is that you remember. Start remembering these closing questions so they become second nature, so that you sound confident, not like you're reading them. Practice them in the mirror because it will make you a lot of money. And the key phrase, and what I just asked the young lady just now, she just watched the information. And I said, are you ready to get started? I didn't even ask her, what it was that she liked best about it. I didn't go to that yet. As soon as they got done the information, I asked her, I said, are you ready to get started? And she said, yeah. You see, we got to ask that closing question early because we could talk our way out of a sale. But if that doesn't work, go through these closing questions. And I guarantee you, your closing ratio will go up. And so, guys, we're going to go over signature talk. And I can't think of a better person to go over the signature talk. David and I have talked about this quite a bit. And he has taken the classes. He has become very intimate, with the signature talk. And we learned this, all right, during our mastermind experience with Eric Worre, that we invested in ourselves so we can invest back into you guys. And that was the whole point. That was the whole point of us doing this, for us to get better, but being able to invest back in our team. And David and I went over it, and He is going to come on and he is going to explain to you and show you exactly what is a signature talk, the benefits of a signature talk, how to do a signature talk, how to structure a signature talk. And guys, I tell you, if you get this down, you will be having people ask you to come speak for them, ask you your opinion on what company to join. You see, it's the person that provides the information that has the most power and the most influence. And that's what you want to get. You want to get our influence. And so I'm going to bring on our Executive Vice President, David Marquez, and he is going to go over the signature talk.
What's going on, guys? What's going on? Type of one in the chat if you guys are ready to hear about the signature talk. While you guys do that, I want to give it back to Dr. Arnold Bogarty, always coming through with that heat, coming through with that fire, and coming through with all the info and knowledge that we all so desire. I mean, look at the closing. What he said is so true. That statement, that one line. See, a lot of people knew I did music, but what a lot of you probably didn't know is I went platinum off of that one hit line, right? It was literally, you know, you ready to get started, but you knew I was a DJ. It was so like, chicka, chicka, you ready to get started? And it took me over 6 figures in my first 10 months in this business. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and jump straight into it. For those that don't know, my name is David Marquez, AKA DJ De Niro. And I started, you know, in the music industry. Loved it, had a passion for it, but you know, my passion changed when I had my children and wanted to spend more time with them. So I used this platform of network marketing to be able to use this so I could spend more time with them. And now I had the time freedom. And now my passion shifted again, because although I had the time freedom and I have the, you know, the income as well, I think it shifted because my joy now is to help others achieve that same freedom. And so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into the training, guys, and share my screen with you guys. Now, remember, over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to go over 4 parts of your presentation and give you the secret, right, of effective communication and increase your overall conversion rate, right? And so we're going to go straight into it. Let me know, Arnold, you can see my screen okay? All right.
My brother.
Thank you, my brother. So what is a signature talk? I know you guys heard about me, you know, mention it over and over again. A signature talk pretty much is, you know, it's a talk that positions you as a subject matter expert. It's something that can be done in 3 minutes in an Uber ride or in 3 hours spending time with your best friend, right? Or it can be done on a one-to-one at Starbucks or in front of hundreds of people, you know, in a ballroom like you see in this picture. It's something that, you know, to get people to want to enter the next step with you, right? And then last but not least, it helps solves a problem for your target audience. You know, you got to think about it. There's a lot of people out there, and, you know, when I go and talk, you know, especially how many of you guys ever recorded yourself doing a presentation, right? If you recorded yourself doing a presentation and the camera was on you, type a 1 in the chat. Right? Here's one tip I'm going to let everybody know, right? Don't have the camera facing you. Instead, have it facing your audience. And here's why. This was a tip I learned from a mentor of mine. He said, you will learn more in 5 minutes than an hour of recording yourself. You see, when you have the camera facing the audience while you're talking, the most exciting parts, the audience is going to show. The most boring parts, you'll see people yawning. You'll see people looking at their phone. You'll see people getting up and maybe going to the bathroom. And the most engaging parts, they're engaged with you. So I highly recommend, even if you're on a webinar like this, you know, you can record like I'm doing right now, the gallery to view on your Zoom call, and it'll teach you what parts stuck out, what parts were boring. And that way you guys can get better. But your only measure of success should be the people who would say yes to entering the next step with you, right? And so that's by determining the key communication. But when I go into the signature talk, I want to let you guys know, you know, the research behind this. This is proven research. And you can see all of these people here, right? I'll just go to the very last person, right? All of these people have proven how much the signature talk works. And so this Nobel Peace Prize winner, economist, right? His name was Richard Taylor. He actually stated it, right? When he was going and doing the research, he You guys probably don't know who he is, but he's like a master communicator, and he communicated to get people to take action during the crisis. Now, what are we all in right now? We're still in the middle of a crisis, right? If you don't know that, right, you want to understand that these signature talks are useful to use for people, because a lot of times, and let's be real, during crisis, people do not want to buy. You know, how many of you guys have people that literally were just stuck on the wall? If you don't know how to get people to take action, your business is always going to be stuck. So if you don't want that to happen, type a 1 in the chat, because I'm going to give you some exclusive tips and tricks that are going to go ahead and take your business to the next level. If you learn these signature talk secrets, your business is not only going to continue to grow, but because others don't know these techniques, and trust me, they don't. So for the 24 of you that are on here, I'm telling you, if you apply this, because others don't know this and don't apply this, your business is not only going to grow, it's going to grow at an alarming rate that's bigger and faster than ever before. So if you're ready, type you're ready. Okay, good. So here's what it boils down to, right? All of this boils down to communication. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I want to see what everybody's, where do you rank communication when you're talking to people, right? 1 being low, 10 being high. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Awesome. Now, the first 2 clarity questions when you talk about your signature talk, right? You want to address these 2 things before you even start it. Number 1, what is the problem you're trying to solve, right? And number 2, who is your target audience? See, people aren't waiting for your product, right? People have problems of their own. You have to relate it in their language, right? The language of the consumer. Remember this. Remember what your life was like before. See, if you're in financial education, that industry, remember, you were not taught financial literacy in school. So you weren't this, expert, right? I know I wasn't. A lot of people that join network marketing, they become experts as they go through the products and services. But you got to remember what life was like before. You got to dumb it down for your audience. See, they don't understand. And that's why I chose this picture of Neo, right? When he was in the Matrix, when he was finally unplugged and he woke up and actually saw those people. And so I see here, we got a couple of people that are into art. That's cool. But I'm going to let you guys know right now, it's really important that you take this, because just like Neo had no idea what was happening prior, you got to make sure that you dumb it down for your audience. So the night before your prospect gets to hear you, you got to remember they probably were worried or fighting with their wife, right? You'll know it because they'll immediately, when you start talking, they'll lean into you when you start dumbing it down for them. So remember what your life was like before your eyes were open, before you knew what you did. And remember those, it wasn't, if you're doing products, right? For example, if you're selling beauty products, you weren't using big words. You weren't saying all natural. You were pretty much just saying, basic words. So remember that when you're talking to your audience. And then the language, it's a language game. Don't use big words, like I said. Think about it. People are probably thinking to themselves, I don't like my boss. I don't know if my job will be here 2 months from now. I'm away from my kids too much, right? Or I wish I had something to supplement my income. See, those are basic words that you can use when you're coming up with your signature talk. And so what is the problem that you solve, right? This was question number 1. Here's the golden ticket. Here's basically what I learned from all of this, right? Since people aren't waiting for your product and it's a language game, right? You want to understand that majority of the people, you're the problem that you have to offer them. If you do it right in the beginning, it doesn't matter what the hell happens during the presentation. They're still going to do business with you, right? Because you made it relatable. If you do it wrong, it doesn't matter what you do neither. People are still going to do business with you, right? If you do it wrong, they're not going to do business with you, excuse me. So this is why it's crucial for you to nip it in, in the beginning. And so that's the first question. But the second question is, who is your target audience? guys, don't shotgun this to the world. You know I have a gentleman that's in our organization that wanted to shotgun this to everybody. You know, that's, let me tell you something, guys. People join with people that they like, know, and trust, and people that are similar to them. That's why, like Dr. Bogarty said, you want to share other people's stories that can relate to them. And so who are the people most likely to say yes to your product or yes to your opportunity? And think about that. I'll tell you right now, guys, the people that said yes to me, right? I often say they look just like me. They don't look like you. See, the people that will say yes to you are often like you. At first, I targeted entrepreneurs, right? I looked for other DJs. I got other DJs on board, you know, because I did music, you know, because I was one. But I targeted entrepreneurs and I was successful with that. And so what I mean, guys, is you need to look up, you know, besides coming up with a great headline, you know, because you do want to, when you come up with your signature talk, you want to have it like this. You know, when you're at the checkout line, this is the reason why they put this here, because when you're checking out, it's always these headlines, right? You know, the secret sex scandal, right? You know, new cure for thinning hair, right? All of this stuff, all of this is, you know, and sometimes it's always, majority of the time is blown out of proportion when they talk about it, but it gets people to engage and pick up that book and throw it in the grocery aisle, right? And so that's how you have to come up with your words. Remember, people are at work. They may be seeing you go live on Facebook, and they're not going to know what the hell you're talking about. So if you come up with a great headline and you use words like secret, hidden tips, tricks, stuff like that, people are going to engage. They may save the video and look at it when they're not working, right? And so it's really important that you come up with a great headline. But like I was telling you, go out and find content, you know, that you guys are looking for.
Hey, David, real quick, do you mean to have your camera off? Your camera's off right now.
Oh, let me see. You know what? Okay, cool. So you guys want to go out and find the content about your topic, right? Research it. I always tell people, most of my, even though I got, you know, my degree, majority of the stuff that I learned, even in my cell phone repair shop, was off of YouTube University. That stuff is free, guys. You're able to research it on YouTube and Google and books, whatever the topic is. If you're going to talk about, you know, matter of fact, I know we have a couple of people here that are in other network marketing companies. Name a product or a service in the chat. And I'll give you an example of something that you can come up with as a signature key talk here as I'm moving along, but do your research. You know, I remember for me, for example, I went in and I started looking at stuff, you know, we see beauty control. Perfect. So somebody that has, you know, you're not going to mention your product or service. You're going to go out there instead and start talking about, you know, the three let's say the three things I use daily to make my skin less wrinkly, right? You see, so, and then you research that stuff. So it's key that you use, amateurs use their products. They say their products, they start off with their products, but it's the skilled ones that actually will do a signature talk like this to gain more people, engage more people. And so when I told you that example of me being an entrepreneur, looking for entrepreneurs, right? Don't go out there shotgunning it to everybody. Look for the lowest hanging fruit. That's what we like to call it. The people that relate to you. And those are the first people that you're going to want to go and communicate with. And so now to get to the actual signature talk, right? It's a 4-part framework, and you guys are definitely going to want to take pictures. You're going to want to take screenshots, but there's 4 main parts, right? And you can remember these 4 H's. It's going to be your heart, right? It's going to be the head, the hands, and then again, the heart, right? And so I'm going to go a little more deeper into that because you want to connect with the heart, right? You want to start off with the heart. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And so the best way to do it when you're connecting with the heart is you're going to want to go ahead and literally start off with your story, right? I'm going to go further into it deeper in just a second, but the second part we talk about is going to be the head, right? This is actually the layout. And this is where you're going to want to have 3 to 5 critical steps that you're mentioning, right? So I could say the 3 mistakes people make that's hurting their credit, right? Or the 3 tips to have, younger skin, right? If you're in the beauty product, or the 3 cleaning products I use to keep COVID away, right? And so all of these are you're going to mention in the head part, your content. And those are your 3. This is where you teach them something new, whether they do business with you or not. Okay. I want you to get that out of your head. There's no selling in this signature part when you're starting it. Okay. You want to make sure that you engage with them. And so then number 3, this is the hands, right? This is the hands part, the call to action. It's a simple statement of, do you want this or not? See, how many of you guys see in a presentation where they're giving you options at the end, right? Just to let you know, that isn't encouraged. I've learned giving options at the end. That's like me doing a live video and telling them to share this, hit this link, do this. You're giving too many steps, guys. Instead of saying, all of these options, pick one, right? Or instead use this at the end of the presentation. Say, so the next step for you is this, right? A perfect presentation doesn't have an off-road, right? It doesn't have no off-road veering off to multiple solutions. So remember that. And if you are saying you could do this, this, or this, right? You can pretty much expect your prospect or potential to do absolutely nothing. So that was a tip that I learned. And then number 4, you want to end it with the heart. Remember, you want to tell a memorable story. See, there's 2 types of decision makers in every audience, tactical and emotional. See, tactical people are going to want, and you can tell who does the presentations like that. You might have somebody that's giving a presentation, and when you hear them talk, they're mentioning all of these bullets, or doing this and that and that. And then you can tell who's the emotional person because they're talking about, oh, and it makes you feel good, or it makes, they're leaning more towards emotion. It's really the person, the presenter that can do both, can speak tactical and with emotion to be able, and that's the person that's going to win the most. And a bonus tip, if you're talking to a husband and a wife, always know that one is tactical and the other is going to be emotional. So here's a bonus tip. You need to get them both to say yes before you can move forward. And so I highly encourage everybody to remember that, take a screenshot. I've learned to do that. When I would talk to a husband or a wife, I would get them both on before we continue. And so the signature talk, again, to go back and reiterate it, those 4 parts, heart, right? Head, hands, and then heart again, can also be equivalent to open content, tactical, and emotional. So these are the 4 parts, right? Make sure you guys are taking notes on this because this part is crucial. This is what can be done in 5 minutes on Facebook, on a Facebook Live, or 30 minutes on a webinar. It can work, 3 minutes on the elevator with somebody, or it can work a half a day with someone that you love, right? It's not about money, but instead about helping, you believe in what you have to offer. So number 1, right? The opening. There's 3 things you want to show in the opening, okay? You want to show the ordinary, right? This is what makes you relatable. You see, I was a DJ. I owned a cell phone repair shop. I was looking for time with my children, right? Then you want to go to the extraordinary. See, tell me, what does this sound like? You guys all remember practicing your story, right? We did it for several weeks. So you start with the ordinary, then the extraordinary is, I found something, right? And then your why. You want to go into your why. So here's the ordinary. You want to make it relatable, right? You want to show the audience, look, I'm just like you. I walked in your shoes. Find common ground with them. And then when you go to the extraordinary piece, right, of the first part, which is the opening, you want to make sure you mention, I have a solution to a problem that you still have, right? Referring to the, to that prospect, to the audience. And then you also want to mention, look, I figured out something that you're still struggling with, right? Or I found a way. So you take it from ordinary to extraordinary. And then number 3, show your why, right? What hurts you? Why is this important to you? So I'm not going to spend a lot of time with that. That's the opening though. That's why I said the first part should be dealt with the heart. See, none of these are dealing with, anything but just how you relate, how you have a solution, and your why. So that's why this relates to the heart, the first part. And that's the opening. But here's the warning I'm going to give everybody. And these are the 3 C's you want to avoid when you're doing this. You don't want to be cheesy, all right? Leading with your product or opportunity. Some people will do that. They'll be like, oh, I found this, amazing service and the product, it comes off as being cheesy. The second C you want to avoid is being cash driven, okay? And then the third one is being overconfident, okay? It's okay to sound confident, but cockiness can come over on a lot of people. So instead, the C you want to lead with is compassion. So remember that. I promise you, you'll engage more people in the beginning. And then, like I said, it doesn't matter what you do. At that point, they're going to want to do business with you, right? You can screw it up in the end, but regardless, you captivated them from the beginning. So remember to lead with that. Now, if you don't have a powerful story, right? You've never been homeless, no rags, the richest story, right? No worries. You see, I got a picture here of this guy on top of a mountain because, my mentor one day was telling me a story of a guy that he knew that was always telling his story about him going up on Mount Everest, right? Telling his story every single time about how he went up Mount Everest. Now, how many people do you think can relate to that story? How many people, honestly, could you think can actually relate to that story? Nobody. But then he said he coached someone else who talked about arguing with their spouse, right? Over toilet paper, right? The toilet paper was basically the husband and wife would argue on if the toilet paper was to sit over or under the roll. How many more people can relate to that story, right? You see, when that happens, you just created engagement. See, people would love to come after you afterwards and talk to you about that because that's more relatable than this. Think about it. Not everybody gets to climb, Mount Everest, but everybody, unless you run out of toilet paper. And I know during the pandemic, a lot of people were running out of toilet paper. But again, another topic, a discussion. And you know what we call those people? Someone that can relate and wants to engage with us. I call them customers. I call them distributors or prospects. Because that's what they are. Remember we said they relate to you, and that's what you're looking for, guys. So if you don't have a story, that's okay. We'll find common ground. The quickest way to get through the 3 parts of the opening, right? What I just told you, those 3 parts, you're going to want the quickest way is through episodic storytelling. Look, I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick to show you. A lot of you guys have seen me before. And I would tell this story about my wife when I came home and I was reading this book, Your First Year Network Marketing. And then I would come home. And when I got there, I would literally, I wanted to put it to the test because they would talk about the rejection rocket. So I remember when I got home and the lights were off like this. And I basically kicked open the door, turned on the lights. And I said, boom, baby, guess what? We're going to travel around the world. I'm going to retire you and we're going to spend time with the kids and I'm going to do network marketing and I'm not going to DJ no more. And she was like, no, we're not, David. Turn off the lights. I need to go to work. Right. True story. But every time I tell that story, you see, I said it and I did it in a way that all of you felt like you were in the room with me at that moment. And this was something that happened years ago. So think about that. When you're telling your story, you want to make sure that you are actually going out there and putting them in an episodic, like in an episode of your own story. So that is the best way to tell. And when you do these openings, right, the first part of it, that's how you want to go about it. So tell it in the now. And then a bonus tip. There are 3 types of ways of speaking, right? So you have, and this is something that you guys want to practice. You have your nose, right? Where people speak through the nose. Like if you speak through the nose like this, you're high pitched and typically fast. If you speak through your throat, it's a middle voice of the 2. But you want to get in when you're telling your story and you're going, and we already said this, lower your tone. If you speak from the chest, you lower your pitch, and it automatically slows down the pace. And you know what that just you know what that tells the audience? That you're confident. When somebody's speaking up quick like that, they end up looking like they're alarmed. So remember that. That's a tip when you're speaking about the opening and you're telling your story. To lower your pitch and slower your pace, speak it from the chest, right? As T.I. says, say it from your chest. So include an I believe statement in your opening. This is a key to doing your signature talk. When you start off, right, and you say all of that, at the very end, if you go and say this, I believe we shouldn't have to rely on anyone for income and that we should be in control of our financial future. Or I believe everyone should control their financial destiny, right? Or if it's related to the beauty product that I seen Laura put on there, because I believe that all women should have some type of lotion and cream to prevent old age wrinkling from happening, right? It doesn't matter what it is. If you use that I believe statement in your opening, people are more engaged. They're going to look and view you as somebody that knows exactly what they believe in, and people join, right? Strength, not weakness. So I wanted to include that. And then last but not least, in your opening, you want to finish your opening with road mapping, right? The 3 things I'm going to teach you today, right? Or in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to teach you this, this, and this. So you guys don't even notice it, but I did it to you in the beginning. See, look at the very next slide. This is what we opened up with. I said, over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to go over the 4 parts of your presentation and give you the secret of effective communication and increase your overall conversion rate. That's how your signature talk should talk. But then from there, that's when you say, but first, let me tell you my story. And then you go into that. So just remember, this is when going over your opening, you're basically, it's your heart. The only purpose of the opening is to connect with you, those people to connect with you, fall in love with you, and see themselves in you. That's the first part. And that's why we call it the heart. So now that you got that first part down, hopefully everybody understands it. If you do, type 1 in the chat so we can go on to number 2. And I'll wait. Let's see here. There we go. Daryl, I see you. Awesome. So number 2, now we're going to go on to the second part, which is the content, right? So what is this content that we speak of? This content that you got to come up with. So the content is really solving the problem, right? The audience has a problem and you need to be the solution. Now, this doesn't mean they have to buy your products. Make it a topic related to your products, right? You can make it related to your business opportunity, but don't flat right go into it. Again, we say that's cheesy. So you want to pick 3 pieces of information you can use for the content. Now, I'm going to use an example here of cleaning products, okay? So I can say something like, this could be my signature talk. How to deep clean your kitchen, right? Sounds like something off of a magazine. You can say it on Facebook. Hey guys, this is David Marquez, and today I'm gonna teach you how to deep clean your kitchen. Now, you're gonna mention, being that we're in a crisis, right? And many people have had to let go of their cleaning staff, and because more people are conscious of germs and viruses now, it is more important than ever to keep a clean, germ-free kitchen. So in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you how to clean and kill off all the germs in your kitchen. You see, you can do that with anything. I can sit here and just to, let you guys know, hey guys, my name is David Marquez, and in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you the 3 ways to improve your credit score. Now, what would be the 3 contents that I can use, right? I can use, let's say, get a secure card. Have somebody add you as an authorized user on your account, on their account. And then number three, we could say, dispute and challenge any negative items. Now, I didn't give them my product name. I didn't give them my services. I didn't tell them the company. I just gave them helpful information, right? And so that's something that you want to make sure you guys do it. Don't be cheesy. Give them knowledge and information that they can use. And let me tell you why that's crucial. Because the person who actually helps is the one who gets the business. This is what we call teach the criteria technique, okay? You don't have to buy my cleaning products, but you should definitely buy some cleaning products. Not from me, don't gotta be from me, you can get it from Publix, wherever. But you need to, and this is the teach the criteria technique right here. When you decide to go buy some cleaning products, here are some criteria by which you should choose from, okay? So now I'm gonna relate it to another thing. So we'll relate it to financial literacy, credit again. So we'll say, for example, I told you to get a secure card. I told you to get, be an authorized user, maybe a trade line, which is like, we have a program called Credit My Rent. You don't have to use mine. You can go through Experian. They have different types of trade lines, but just make sure you get it done. And as far as disputing the negative items, you can get that done too. You can even get it for free on Google. But just be careful, because some people will nitpick. Some people will literally take you for years. There's companies out there to do that. So just be careful when you select one. What did I just do? I didn't give them my name. I just gave them helpful information. So now what do they want to do? They're going to ask me, oh, what company are you with? Or what product do you use? Right? Now, this idea, when they come at you like that, you don't have to go straight into it and tell them, oh, this is what it is and this is what we offer. I'll send you the link. No. Instead, you say, you know what? Let's sit down and we'll schedule a meeting from a meeting, right? Remember, BAM fam, book a meeting from a meeting. Say, you know what? I'll give you some free information. Let's talk tomorrow around 12 or 3 o'clock, right? And so if that's helpful information, go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat. Let me know I'm not wasting my breath. And I'm going to continue on. Remember to use that technique, though, guys. It works. Teach the criteria technique. You're giving them an option, but you're telling them when they go and search somewhere to be on the lookout for this and this, right? If it's financial literacy, be on the lookout. You don't want people taking your money, right? And so the other thing that we want to talk about is this whole technique approach of teaching them is it literally takes the rookie, the amateur, from leading in with the product to leading in with strategy and helpful advice. So once you do that, if you do that on Facebook, I had a lot of people that before this, I did it. I was, if you have failed and have done this in the beginning, go ahead and type a 1 in the chat. I literally would start off and say, my product. That's all I did was throw it out all over the place. And nobody would sign up with me. And I was trying to figure out what the hell did I do wrong? That's because you come off salesy when you do that. But when you teach those techniques and tips I just told you and you're helping somebody, you're not being viewed as a sleazy salesman. You're actually being viewed as an expert, someone who's offering help, right? And so that's what the signature talk does. And so the content, right? This is a bonus tip right here about content. Use helpful words to add in your content. Now, this is some nuggets right here, so make sure you screenshot this. Use these 3 words when implemented correctly. Those 3 words will take it from them doing it on their own to doing business with you, right? Just to give you an example, there was a yoga instructor, right, that I was working with, that she had her own business doing that. And this is what she said. She would go out there and she would tell people about stretching before working out. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know stretching before working out is obviously recommended, and everybody knows that. But this is that one technique she used. Stretching, when implemented correctly, will prevent injury. Now the person that was common sense and a no-brainer to stretch is like, well, am I even stretching right? Am I even doing it right? And so now it went from something that was common that everybody knew, like, damn, well, instead of me doing it, maybe you can teach me how to stretch, right? So when you talk to people about that and you're mentioning to them about, let's say we'll use that again, an example with the credit. You can go ahead and dispute your items online. You can actually download, the Google documents to send them out, but if you make a mistake, see, if you do everything I told you, get the secure card. Remember, even if you purchase, or even if you get somebody to add you on as an authorized user on their account, if they have a negative item or if they have any late payments, that's going to affect your credit. So you have to make sure they have immaculate payment history or it's going to affect you. So when you go out there, make sure, see, doing everything that I taught you, getting the secure card, getting added as an authorized user and disputing properly. If implemented correctly, you'll have a higher credit score. Now, what does that just do with that prospect? They're going to go ahead and want to do business with you. They're going to ask you, well, maybe you can help me out. So just remember that, guys. I'm going to go ahead and move forward. I just wanted to spend a little bit of time on that. Those 3 helpful words, if you add that in the content, I promise you, people are going to want to do business with you. Last example for that, you can use, let's say it's none of the products. You want to talk about having a home-based business. You can simply say in the middle of the content, working a home-based business when implemented correctly can give you freedom, extra income, and more time with your kids. All right. So next, we're going to go to step 3 of the 4, and that's tactical call to action. Remember I said people are tactical and some are emotional. So the tactical call to action, or the hands, is really the call to action that you want to go into. Now, remember, it isn't multiple, actions. It's not like, share this link, go ahead and hit like, comment, do 50 million things, right? So they can't get one done. Instead, you want to focus on just one, right? You want to make sure that you focus on one. And here's some examples of a tactical call to action after your talk. Now remember, you tell your story, you got the content, you let them know the 3 things, and then you said, doing these 3 things, if implemented correctly, you're going to be able to have this. And then you lead off. Now, for those that found value in this, click the link below to get my startup kit to buy. Another one is, here is a free sample. If you're doing it at a convention or if you're face-to-face with somebody, you go into your bag and you give them a free sample. If you can, if you're doing a Facebook Live, you can say, click below to register for my free workshop. You can say, come to our group call tomorrow that we're having at 8:00 p.m. It could be an invitation to an event or a link to learn more. Sign up as a distributor straight up from there after that talk. You can say, if you want to learn more and sign up, here's the link. All of these are examples of tactical call to actions. I didn't say use all of them. Pick one. And that's your call to action. Remember, you have to decide what is the number one thing you want your audience to do. Now, at this moment, I want you to think about your product, your service, whatever it is you offer. How much value is that? If you can do this signature talk and get 50 people on, just being able to get one person, whether it's a customer, client, or a distributor, how much is that worth? You should know that number. And that's going to be an activity that we ask, an assignment. But the last and pretty much the 4th piece that puts it all together is the closing heart story, right? And this is the last part that I tell everybody you want to focus on. This is why you do this, okay? And I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to do a 2-minute example of a signature talk so you hear all of those parts come together. But when you end it, you want to make it a memorable story. Remember, people buy off of emotions. And so that tactical and emotional part, the 3rd and 4th of the whole signature talk, when it comes time to get them to engage and do something, you should have already been doing it during the content. Okay. But I'm going to let you guys know, right? Your signature talk, we just completed all 4 steps. I'm going to go ahead and give you one right now. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to let everybody know. Now, how many of you guys have seen something like this on Facebook, Instagram, where it says sponsored ad and it's somebody you know, and they're like, hey, what's up, guys? This is David Marquez, and today I'm going to talk to you about the 3 things every entrepreneur should know. But first, let me go back and tell you a little bit about myself. My name is David, and I was born in the streets of Harlem, and I grew up on a couch and ended up coming up and they're going to tell their story that's heartfelt and how they were able to turn around and make, hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, enough about me, but back to what I was going to say. The 3 things every entrepreneur should know. And then they go into it and they give you the 3 things and you learn a bit from it. And you're like, wow, this is good stuff. And then at the end of it all is that call to action. That's all the signature talk is, guys. It's pretty simple, but if you master it, it will gain you the most. And again, it has nothing to do with income. Think about the impact of how many people you can help by being able to reach out there and offer a solution to their problem. See, when I go tell my signature story, it's funny because my signature talk after these 8 weeks is really going to be this entire 5 presentation. So you guys will be able to see it because it will be a sponsored ad. And I encourage everybody. Look, I did more than me. Dr. Bogarty and I went out there and we literally spent probably between me and him together, 20 grand for this whole training. And this one piece I found to be more valuable. And I believe I got my money's worth just off of these 5 presentations. Because now I can go through them, and we created the slides from scratch, me and Dr. Bogarty. And we didn't just keep them to ourselves. No, if you guys go to Facebook right now into the group, you guys have access to all of them. You can download them and you can use them and you can learn them and you can start implementing them yourself. And that's what I highly recommend for everybody to do. Because guess what? If you don't do it, someone else is going to do it. I promise you, I'm going to do it. So why not have your sponsored ad out on Facebook, Instagram, promoting the 5 presentations every network marketer should know? Talking about this story, you can do that in 5 minutes. See, I can talk about the story, the product, the company, right? The business opportunity presentation, the getting started, right? The being able to teach them skills training. And then last but not least, the signature talk. And then putting it all together. And at the very end say, look, if implemented correctly, those 5 presentations will take your business to the next level. And then bring it back to a story. Say we had Julie who was making $30,000 a year. And once she implemented this to her team, she now makes over $1 million a year. So if you guys want to sign up for my free workshop, click on the link below. Thank you guys for your time. That was my Dr. Bogarty. Back to you, brother.
Hey, David, I tell you what, man, you explain that almost as well as Pat Quinn. Explain that. Phenomenal job. Hey, guys, throw some fire in the chat. All right. Throw some ones in the chat. Let me tell you something. 2 years ago, David would not have been able to do this. 2.5 years, 3 years ago, I would not have been able to do this. You see, it comes with practice and it comes with repetition. And he just did a phenomenal job. You see, when we were talking about this and we were doing this training, he was explaining things to me while we're sitting there at the clubhouse. And I'm like, damn, he is totally vested in this. And you guys can see that. And so when we were talking about amateurs and professionals, you see, that's sorting right there. You see, what David is doing with his signature talk is sorting. He's sorting through people because they're seeing his signature talk. He's not trying to sell them anything. You see, you guys get that? We've all seen that. We've all seen a Matt Morris. We've all seen a Les Brown. We've all seen, as a matter of fact, Eric Worre is the master at this. He is the absolute master at this when it's selling you something, but you don't know he's selling you something. You see, what we want to do is be that old wise man on the hill, that old wise man that everybody comes to for information. in that way, our influence grows. And that's what David just showed you how to do. I encourage everyone to get the replay. I posted in the chat, Pat Quinn's signature talk, the same one that me and David saw during our accelerator program. And so made that available. But David, thank you so much. I learned even more because it looks like you added some stuff since we left putting this thing together. Phenomenal job, guys. And so we appreciate everyone being on. David, do you want to go ahead and close us out?
Yeah.
I see that you have an assignment out there.
Yes, absolutely. So guys, look, I want to, what better way than to finish off the last week with, something that we can all apply. And so I encourage everybody to take on this assignment. I would love for everyone on here. We have, 25 people on. Out of the 25, I would love to see all 25 of us draft our own signature talk. It could be simple, make it something very simple. It could be related to your business or to your product or service, but draft it up, share it on the Facebook group. And again, remember, it can be, your signature talk could just be two things. I mean, two minutes. Go in there, tell them what you're going to talk about, go back to your story, give them the content, and then just post it on the Facebook group. And then set up a Facebook Live right afterwards, once you've done that, and do your signature talk. And then post your results and the efforts. I love to hear them. I obviously want to hear what everybody comes up with. I think it's going to be interesting. Remember to keep it, completely, when you're doing these signature talks, make sure that, you want to sound like the old wise uncle, right? Helping them out, the expert, teaching them how to be a smart buyer. So go ahead and drop some gems for people. Remember, don't be trying to sell them, but definitely I encourage everybody to take on this assignment. And then again, next week, we're going to finish off the 8 weeks. This is the last week of the Power Presentation Workshop. And, it's going to be amazing hearing everybody's signature talk. And then we're going to go ahead and give another couple of examples of signature talks to make sure everybody understands it. But this is a good time for everybody to write down any questions. We're going to have open Q&A next week. And it doesn't have to be just on the signature talk. It could be Q&A on anything that we went over of the 5 presentations. And then we're going to have our final round of the speak off for the last winners that we had. I know a couple of them weren't able to make it when they were called on the same time that they won it. So we're going to reach out to all of them and we're going to do a final speak off. So we have prizes for the winners. I know me and Dr. Bogarty talked about it, but we want to reward and celebrate everybody for participating from week 1 all the way to week 8. And if you're brand new on here and you're just now tuning in, or you're on, you've only been plugged in for the last couple of weeks or so, go back into the Facebook group and I encourage you to watch all of the other ones, right? And if you want to jump in, we don't mind, but we're going to have that final speak off and select. And I don't know what we're going to choose, but I'll talk to Dr. Bogarty about it and see how many winners we have. But just remember that, guys, next week will be the last week and we'll close it out strong with a celebration for those who completed the 5-week presentation workshop. And we got something special for you guys. So I'm excited. We actually get done almost an hour early. So if you
David,
guys, go ahead, brother.
Before we end, stop sharing your screen and make me host, guys. I'm going to make this so easy for you to do your first signature talk that I'm going to put the information right in front of you. So David, make me the host. Let me go ahead and share my screen, guys. This is golden. It's only going to take me 1 second. And I'm going to show you where I got all of my information from when I first started that I would share on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Ashton Henry got his from here. Alfred gets his from here. And so let me go ahead and share something with you really fast. Let me find it really quick. But we have all of the information that we need for you guys to do your first signature talk right in our UCES protection plan website. So hold on.
Well, that's right. Yep.
Yes. And I'm going to log in and then I'll share my screen so you guys can see this. All right, let me minimize that. Now I'm going to share my screen. Move out the way, move out the way. All right, there we go. And all right, everybody should be seeing my UCES screen. David, give me a thumbs up.
I got
David,
you.
can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, guys. And so you look at all of the options right here, and we have our credit builder. You click in the credit builder, guys, and you go to forms and documents. Guys, this is everything you need to do your signature talk. Literally, when I first started, all I did was look at something that I wanted to talk about. How is your credit score calculated? So I clicked on that. And then literally I will go live on my phone and read what it is. And so now we use the framework. How is your credit score calculated? Your payment history determines approximately 35% of your credit score. The credit score model is looking, and you just go off of these points. Now you are the subject matter expert. You're not talking about, hey, come join my company. You have everything that you need right here to have a great signature talk. All you do is review it a little bit and then have the points in front of you and you just read it off. And we have so many other, nuggets back here. How to avoid foreclosure versus a short sale, bankruptcy, talking about the different bankruptcies, credit building tips. Here's everything right here. As a matter of fact, I did a live video sort of signature talk on this right here. And I think I enrolled like maybe 12 or 13 clients just by doing credit building tips. And so we have all of the tools that we need in order to do a great signature talk right there on our UCES website under the credit builder. And so guys, I hope that nugget right there helped. But we have everything we need. The company gives you everything that you need in order to have a great signature talk right away in your back office under the credit builder.
And one thing I wanted to add too, guys, I used it, and you heard Bruno's training yesterday. He mentioned it, that he saw me go live mentioning about, collections and don't pay the collections. And I gave some tips. That was a signature talk that I didn't even know was a signature talk at the time, but I knew creating that content was going to engage with people. And another point that, like Dr. Bogarty's mentioned, you guys can go to YouTube, search. I did that. I put in the three things, the credit, or the why are medical bills, right, easy to get deleted. And I looked it up. I researched it. And what you do is another tip. If it has a lot of thumbs up and very few thumbs down, that's the ones I would go for. I would go for ones that were no more than 10 minutes. If it was like an hour long, I wasn't watching it. If it was like 10 minutes or so, or 5 minutes, I would watch it. And then I wouldn't just watch it and write it down verbatim. I would watch it, pause it, and take like 3 or 4 bullets from there. Those are what you want to do to create your signature talk. Guys, you guys have it all now in your hands. Do the assignment. Let's crush it. And obviously, I can't wait to see everybody else's. And it doesn't have to be related to that. You can make it about, the industry of network marketing, working from home, home-based businesses, single moms, anything like that. Be creative with it. And I look forward to seeing everybody's signature talk on the assignments. Thank you, guys. Dr.
Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Have a great night. Remember, myself and Xavier, we have the path to financial freedom tonight. Okay, guys. So invite. Everybody hop on. And remember, you get better at presenting by watching us present, by watching people present. And so myself and Xavier will be doing the presentation tonight. So invite for that, 9 p.m., our team link. And we look forward to everybody. We look forward to seeing your signature talks. I'm pretty sure David and I will do 2 or 3 this week, so you can see how it is that we do it. Because this was just positive reinforcement. We hadn't seen this information in about 2 months. That's how long ago our class was. And just looking and going over it again, it got me excited about doing another signature talk. And so Like, again, guys, like David said, everybody have a great night. We'll see you on next week. That is the last week, week 8. I tell you what, the prizes we have are going to be phenomenal. And I look forward to seeing you guys all on the path to financial freedom presentation tonight. God bless.
God bless everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night. Good night.
Great job,
Bye.
guys. See you at 9.
God bless, guys. Thank you.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.